When we hear about Baobhan Sith, we automatically think of a mysterious and frightening figure. But did you know that behind this gothic appearance and cruel personality lies a tragic story? Yes, she wasn't born this way. Over time, her life was shaped by pain, betrayal, and manipulation, leading her to become the terrible Fairy Knight we know today in Lostbelt. But what exactly transformed her into this being we both fear and in some ways admire? Baobhan Sith, or better yet, Fairy Knight Tristan, is one of the most enigmatic figures in the British Lostbelt. Originally, she wasn't this cold and bloodthirsty creature. There was a time when she was gentle, helping those around her, even when life offered her little in return. However, her kindness was seen as weakness by the fairies of her land. They betrayed, abused, and brutally attacked her until her own limbs were torn apart. It was Morgan, the powerful ruler, who found her in this pitiful state and adopted her as her daughter. And here, the story of Baobhan Sith begins to take a dark turn. Morgan taught her to abandon her compassion and embrace cruelty. To Morgan, the world was a place where only the strong survive, and she made sure to instill this philosophy in Baobhan. Over time, the young fairy adopted this cruelty as second nature. She began to believe that the only way to earn respect and perhaps even love was through fear and violence. And thus, she became the Fairy Knight that terrorizes the British Lostbelt. One of Baobhan Sith's most striking characteristics is her appearance. With a notable Gothic style, her look exudes elegance and danger. Her long pink hair, mixed with black strands, cascades down her back like a dark waterfall, and her Victorian clothing is as intricate as it is intimidating. But what draws attention isn't just her aesthetic. It's also the contrast between her beauty and her destructive nature. She is a character who combines grace with brutality, creating a figure that fascinates and terrifies at the same time. However, her cruelty is not a simple choice. Behind her actions lies a desperate need for recognition, especially from her adoptive mother, Morgan. Everything Baobhan Sith does, from massacring fairies to torturing her enemies, is an attempt to earn her mother's love and respect. But, as we know, that is never enough. Morgan is cold and distant, and no matter how hard she tries, Baobhan Sith can never fill that emotional void. Even so, she continues her quest for power and recognition, allying herself with dark figures like Beryl Gut. Together, they sow chaos and destruction wherever they go. The relationship between Baobhan Sith and Beryl is a partnership of convenience and sadistic pleasure. They both share a love for violence, and through this union, Baobhan dives even deeper into her journey of cruelty and despair. What makes Baobhan Sith such a fascinating character is her duality. She is not just a villain seeking to destroy everything around her. In truth, she is a victim of circumstances that, over time, have shaped her into what she most feared. She longs to be loved, but only knows the language of fear. She seeks power, but is constantly used by those around her. And in the end, her trajectory is an endless cycle of suffering and cruelty. Another intriguing aspect of Baobhan Sith is her obsession with shoes. At first glance, this might seem like a trivial peculiarity, but when we look closer, we understand it reflects her desperate attempt to cling to something human, something that connects her to proper human history. This obsession reveals a part of Baobhan that still yearns for normalcy, for a life she never had the chance to live. However, no matter how hard she tries to mimic humanity, her cruel nature always prevails. She may create stylish shoes, but those same shoes are used to crush her enemies. She may seek Morgan's acceptance, but her violent acts only push her further away from those who could love her. And it's in this dilemma that Baobhan Sith remains trapped, between the desire to be accepted and the reality that her cruelty has condemned her to a life of solitude and hatred. At the end of it all, we can't help but wonder, is Baobhan Sith truly a villain, or just a victim of a world that forced her to become this way? Is there, deep down in her soul, still that gentle fairy who wanted to help others? Or has her cruelty completely consumed any trace of kindness that remained? This is the mystery surrounding Baobhan Sith that leaves us captivated by her story. After all, who is she really?